The last 4 years of the Jonathan administration, I was the most demonized person. I was the public enemy number one. And there are two gentlemen seated here. Certain decisions are taken in a very rare peace cycle. The president, the vice president, the Senate president, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. At one of such conclaves, former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan GCFR, with whom we have shared the sword and have now recalibrated our relationship, was mooting the idea of removing this Borno governor, and Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, had the courage to tell the President that, Your Excellency, you don't have the power to remove an elected councillor. The President was still not convinced. He mooted the idea at the Federal Executive Council. I admire Mr. Mohammed Bello Adoke fundamentally for his courage and for his convictions and for his capacity to stand for what he believes in. He told the then president that, Mr. President, you do not have the power to remove a sitting governor, not even a councillor. They sought for the opinion of another SAN in the cabinet, Kabiru Turaki, who said, I am concurring with the opinion of my senior colleague. That was how the matter was laid to rest, but that was how my relationship with Mr. Bello Adoke and Aminu Waziri Tambuwal became eternally sealed.
He knows what these people bring to the table. So let's make Africa work. Let's make Africa the beautiful bride. We move on to other stories now. Vice President Kashim Shettima has said he was the most demonized person under the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. He said the then president mooted the idea of removing him as Borno State governor. But the then Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, stopped the idea. Shettima spoke on Thursday in Abuja at the public presentation of Adoke's memoir. The book has its title as OPL 245, Inside Story of the $1.3 billion Nigerian oil block. The former Borno State governor said Adoke was brave enough to tell Jonathan that he had no constitutional power to remove even an elected councillor, let alone an elected governor. Let's take a listen.
Goodluck Ebele Jonathan GCFR, with whom we have shared the sword and have now recalibrated our relationship, was mooting the idea of removing this Borno governor, and Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, had the courage to tell the President that, Your Excellency, you don't have the power to remove an elected councillor. The President was still not convinced. He mooted the idea at the Federal Executive Council. I admire Mr. Mohammed Bello Adoke fundamentally for his courage and for his convictions and for his capacity to stand for what he believes in. He told the then president that, Mr. President, you do not have the power to remove a sitting governor, not even a councillor.
Shettima was governor of the insurgent reading Northeast State from May 2011 to May 2019. At the peak of the insurgency on December 31, 2011, former President Jonathan declared a state of emergency in some local government areas in Borno and Plateau states. Some 18 months later, on May 14, 2013, Jonathan declared a state of emergency for the entire terrorist-plagued states of Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa, but he did not suspend any of the governors.
This video or interview or presentation has generated serious debate on the social media. I see people calling Shettima all manner of names. Betrayal, hypocrite. Why are you talking about what your boss has just done by the suspension of Similaye Fubara? And in the newsroom, I did mention to Ben, I said, I'm not even looking at the angle that people are looking at. People are saying that, why is he talking about it? Let me tell you, if you have followed the trajectory of Shettima, Shettima is a very brilliant man. Whatever he said yesterday was intentional. I feel that Shettima may have mentioned to Tinubu during the time he was mooting the idea to suspend Fubara, to say, Oga, no, this is not right. And his Oga didn't listen to him. So yesterday he used that opportunity to throw a jab at his boss to say, this thing you did is not constitutional. It was almost done to me and I didn't support it then, I will not support it now. But he made it look like he was trying to paint a scenario of what happened between him and Adoke, which is a true life situation. And I think that there's also a lesson from what he said. Can public officers stand to their boss and say, Oga, this thing is not right, and the Oga listening to what the person is saying? Because if Jonathan was not a listening governor, president, if he was a president like Tinubu or Obasanjo, and you say, Mr. President, you cannot remove him, he will say, my friend, go home. The next day you hear that announcement has been made. So two things: Jonathan is a listening leader. Two, politicians should learn when those under you who are more experienced than you, especially when that matter was a matter of law. And Adoke that time as Attorney General mentioned to him that there is no place in our law where you find that. And then Jonathan listened. Okay? So, but for the VP, he was trying to explain how his relationship with Adoke and Tambuwal got cemented. That after that encounter, the relationship blossomed. You know your true friends, people who fight for you when you're not there. That's what happened.
To think they weren't even friends in the first place.
Adoke was Attorney General. He was not a governor. He was a member of the executive, while the other one was a member of the the State's Council. So they were not on the same level. And Tambuwal has shown again that he has a way of standing by his friends. The way he acted to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, shows you that he's a man that stands firmly by what he believes. If he doesn't believe in that thing, he may not follow through. So it's important when you're dealing with somebody like Tambuwal going forward, be sure that he's on the same page with you. He's a man of strong conviction.
Well, let me talk from the political side. What this shows is that in Nigeria, the so-called state of emergency, at least from 1999, they've been nothing but political maneuvering by certain presidents who feel they are powerful and can wield their powers unchecked or unquestioned. You could tell that Goodluck Jonathan asked questions, and his appointees were bold enough to stand up to him to say, Mr. President, yes, you can declare state of emergency because of the security situation, but you cannot remove a governor. But what we have seen, especially under the current dispensation, is a situation where the president woke up one morning, cited insecurity in Rivers State, whereas in places like the Northeast, Northwest, insecurity practically walks on four legs every other day. A state of emergency has not been declared, no state governor has been suspended. But because the governor had political interests in Rivers State, the Rivers State governor had to be suspended. So for me, two vital lessons. One is the place of our institutions. You heard from the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, talked about Tambuwal, who was a speaker, how he was able to say, no, Mr. President, you cannot do this. But what have we seen under the present dispensation? Even before the president sent a letter For the National Assembly to authorize the state of emergency, it was hey, obey, hey. And he got the green light. So people are scared of talking, especially when the law is on their side. Like the former president's wife once asked, are there men in Nigeria? How did we get to this point where when someone emerges a president or a governor, he can do no wrong? Even his appointees cannot say, please, Mr. Governor, what you said, there is nothing wrong, but see, if we do it this way, we'll achieve the best results. That is not what we see. And also, I want to commend the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, for the kind of appointments he made. If you happen to find yourself in a public office, please do not appoint those people who would only tell you what you want to hear. Exactly. Those people who would only tell you, oh, guy, you're the best thing that ever happened in Nigeria since after akara and bread. Let's appoint people that will say, please, Oga, yes, this thing you're saying, there are merits in it, but look at the pitfalls. That is what appointees should do. Help guide their boss arrive at the best decision.
Sure. There was a trending video, I don't know whether you saw it last week, of the former governor of Lagos State. Is it former? Present. I beg your pardon. Sanwo-Olu did his 60th birthday celebration. And when he arrived at the venue, he was greeting everybody. And he skipped Mr. Thomas, the CEO, Alexander, what do they call it? Eleganza Group. He skipped him. I don't know how. Maybe he was greeting somebody above him and he didn't see him. He greeted others. When he got to the end of the high table greeting, his aide just ran to him and whispered, okay, you know greet Okoya. Immediately, the governor made a 360 degrees movement and returned back to Okoya to greet him properly. I saw the video. I said, this is a real governor. Not the ones that will be afraid. Yeah, I don't want to take governor now. Will he like how we say it? How will I even say it? Hey, maybe he didn't greet him because they are quarreling. You know, he starts to conjure. So it's good though for leaders to listen to their subordinates and also appoint people who will be truthful to you.
Exactly.